Tonight on Newswatch, new developments in a lawsuit against the city of Nelsonville. Plus, an air quality warning is in effect for Southeast Ohio as a wildfire sends smoke into the region. And it's opening day. Copperheads baseball returns to Athens. We are live at Bob Wren Stadium. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening and welcome to Newswatch. I'm Reese Thompson. The lawsuit between Nelsonville and former city attorney Gary Hunter is ongoing. Reporter Haley Hollinger is live in Nelsonville. Haley, what's new since the last update?
Thanks, Reese. Last time we talked about this lawsuit, it was about 17 days old, so there was a lot left to learn.
This battle for payment has been ongoing for years, as we discussed a couple weeks ago. What's the timeline look like?
Gary Hunter started his city attorney job in 2012, and there is a lot to unpack. He started the sewer plant project in 2018, so he had two separate contracts with the city, both setting his pay at $150 an hour. In August of 2021, Hunter wrote to city officials saying he sent invoices in 2019 and 2020, but he did not get paid. The city discussed paying him specifically in March of 2021. On June 28th of 2021, an ordinance to pay Hunter came to council. It went to second reading in the next meeting. Council had questions about the ordinance, sending it to the Finance Committee. The Finance Committee met in August. Before the meeting, Hunter sent an email saying, quote, "I have never seen the necessity for a council ordinance to pay fees, even in prior years," end quote. The ordinance died in committee. And after reaching out to multiple council members, past and present, no one remembers why. Hunter sent invoices in March this year for work done through June of 2021. And later, an offer was made to pay Hunter 40% of what he had asked. Hunter later threatened legal action if not paid.
Now, Haley, what are the city officials' opinions? Should he or should he not get paid?
Reese, the city council has been divided over this since it began. Councilman Dan Sherman says that he thinks Hunter should get paid for the work that he's done. Corey Taylor, who was on council during the time of Hunter's employment, says that he believes Hunter should only get paid partially. Quote, "Those are separate invoices pertaining to his actual job that he was supposed to be doing for the city and paid monthly. Billing anything over 30 days, I'm not going to pay it, so I don't think the city should pay it," end quote. Hunter's employment contracts do not specifically state that he bill monthly, but there is mention of monthly billing in his city attorney contract, but it is unclear. City Auditor Taylor Sappington says that he just wants to do what is best for his city. Hunter could not be reached for a comment. For Newswatch, I'm Haley Hollinger, live in Nelsonville.
Thank you, Haley. Thanks. Athens City Council is no longer agreeing on what company should provide garbage service for the city. The choices are between locally owned Athens Hawking Recycling Center or Rumpke Waste and Recycling. Both companies are vying for the new contract. Rumpke's bid is almost $2 million, while AHRC's bid is of $2.5 million. Councilmember Ben Ziff says he thinks the higher price with AHRC is worth staying local.
My friends that I've talked to in the service industry are completely okay with that increase. It's $7 a month. We can eat that. It's fine because of what we're getting out of it.
Council is expected to vote on the ordinance at the next council meeting.
Good evening, happy Tuesday. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day today. We have another beautiful day down here in Southeast Ohio where it's about 77 outside with partly cloudy skies. Today's weather is very similar to what we saw yesterday and we'll continue to see a trend like this throughout the rest of this week. Over the past couple of hours, we saw temperatures from about the mid-70s drop into the 40s overnight, so pretty chilly overnight, but those picked back up into the 70s and even in the 80s for Lancaster and Newark throughout the day today. Over the past 24 hours, we've been monitoring the movement of this cold front that's been about the Great Lakes region, and it's going to continue to move south into Ohio. That's going to drop temperatures a little bit, so we're still going to stay in the 70s, but overnight we'll be down into the 40s, so about the mid to lower 40s, a bit chillier. And then we're also going to see a bit more cloud coverage as well. We're also going to be monitoring a low pressure system developing out there because that does impact some of the fire weather that we've been seeing. But for the meantime, we're going to see a lot of clouds continue to move through the Ohio area, giving us some cloudy skies, preventing a lot of that sun coming in and keeping out a lot of those warmer temperatures. Now, you may have noticed it's a bit hazy outside. Right now, the sun is looking a little different at sunset and at sunrise, and a lot of that is due to the wildfires that are happening out to the west and mainly out towards the east up in Canada near Nova Scotia. And I'll talk a lot about why those are coming down into Ohio in my full forecast. But in the meantime, we're really watching a lot of that smoke come through. A lot of it's hitting New York. We have reports of ash covering cars, and we also have some pop-up wildfires over in New Jersey. Now, a lot of this smoke is coming into Ohio from atmospheric winds, and I'll talk a lot about that later. Reese has a bit more about these Canadian wildfires. Over to you, Reese.
Thanks, Emily. If you spent any time outside today, you have noticed the sun looking a little different. Like Emily mentioned, that's all thanks to smoke from a large wildfire in Canada. Air quality alerts are in effect for a large part of the United States, including Southeast Ohio. Laura Geary has the latest.
From the city that never sleeps to the city that can barely breathe. New York briefly topping the list of world's worst air quality Tuesday by IQAir.com. Iconic views in a haze as smoke from Canadian wildfires drifts into the U.S. Across the Northeast and Midwest, millions of people are under varying air quality alerts. Several cities designated as having unhealthy air for sensitive groups, meaning small children and the elderly should reduce outdoor activity. In parts of Pennsylvania and New Jersey, another threat Tuesday, lightning. Rare, dry thunderstorms are forecast in the Mid-Atlantic region, where NOAA's Storm Prediction Center says conditions are primed for possible wildfire spread.
Fire Center duty officer speaking.
Canadian officials say they're currently tracking more than 400 active fires, and at least 26,000 people were forced to evacuate, unsure of what they have left.
I want to go home, and I'm sure that everybody else here does too.
The country's prime minister making a public appeal for donations to help fire victims.
People can support their neighbors who are facing incredibly devastating losses all across the country.
Back in the U.S., forecasters are watching a cold front that could push the smoke further south and east before week's end. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
West Virginia Governor Jim Justice appoints Diana Winson-Reed to represent the state's 4th District in the House of Delegates. Winson-Reed was appointed after Representative Erica Storch resigned from the position last month. The House District 4 covers parts of Ohio County. She will serve the rest of Storch's term. Winson-Reed graduated from Indiana University and works as a consultant for Fortune 100 companies. She says West Virginia is an attractive location for companies in the automotive, manufacturing, energy, and logistics industries. Coming up after the break, the Ohio Secretary of State changes his tone on the August 8th ballot. Plus, default averted, a blockbuster jobs report, what that means for the U.S. economy.
We have a cold front moving through that's also going to help push some of this smoke from Canada down towards us. What that means and more when Newswatch returns.
Forever, forever, you'll stay in my heart and I will. What do you get when you fall in love?
Join us and watch Burt Bacharach and a stellar lineup of artists interpreting Bacharach's best-known music.
The world needs now. Do you know the way to San Jose? The chance to live.
Watch Burt Bacharach, A Life in Song.
Friday at 8:30 on WOUB.
The music of Kenny Rogers has touched millions worldwide. And in 2017, a superstar lineup took the stage in Nashville. It's an incredible tribute to a musical legend. Kenny Rogers Farewell Concert Celebration.
Thursday at 8 on WOUB.
In the spring of 2020, as the country goes into lockdown, outside, the garden is coming alive. As a wildlife filmmaker, I knew there were revelations here that could be just as amazing as anything I'd ever filmed.
These bees are just go, you know.
Discovering the secret life of bees took me on a journey I was not expecting.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
Memory is one of the most important functions of the brain, and problems with it are becoming increasingly more common. In Memory Makeover, I'm going to give you the strategies you need to enhance your memory now and to reverse trouble in the future.
Tuesday at 9:30 on WOUB.
Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose says a plan to make it harder to change the state constitution is to stop a new abortion rights amendment. LaRose says the proposed changes are 100% about keeping a pro-abortion amendment out of the Constitution. The change would raise the threshold from a simple majority of 50% to 60%. The issue is up for a vote on August 8th, 3 months before the proposed amendment on reproductive rights is expected to be up for vote. Meanwhile, one Ohio business group is staying out of the battle over the percentage of votes needed to amend the state constitution. The Ohio Business Roundtable says its members are not taking sides on the issue. Other economic groups warn the change could hurt Ohio economically. They say the plan would make it harder for voters to change the constitution in the future, even for key economic programs that benefit the state. The Ohio Republican Party and some business groups, including the Ohio Chamber of Commerce, have endorsed the ballot issue. Governor Mike DeWine is calling on the State House to pass educational programs he says will bring businesses to Ohio. DeWine says he's trying to get businesses to come to Ohio, but the issue is whether there will be an available workforce for those new businesses. DeWine and other business leaders say keeping high school graduates in Ohio and training them for the jobs of the future is key to the state's economic success. Ohio Business Roundtable's Pat Teaberry says money for education at all levels and job training is more important than tax cuts when it comes to attracting new businesses. President Biden convened his cabinet today for the first time since January. At the top of the agenda, the economy. The White House highlighting the deal to avoid default, infrastructure investment, and job creation. But where does the economy really stand? Karen Kafa has a look from Washington.
President Joe Biden sitting down with his cabinet Tuesday for the first time since January.
Today, I'm here with my cabinet continuing to focus on getting the job done for the American people.
With an eye toward Biden's 2024 re-election bid, where the economy will be among the top domestic issues, the White House used the meeting to highlight implementation of the president's infrastructure plan signed into law last summer, an unemployment rate under 4%, and the bipartisan debt ceiling deal Biden signed over the weekend to ensure the U.S. would avoid default.
He believes that we can continue to get things done, and there's a long list of legislative agenda that he wants to see.
With the debt ceiling crisis resolved, more economists are leaning away from the idea that the Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes to curb inflation could slow the economy to a halt. Goldman Sachs chief economist told CNBC Tuesday the labor market is cooling in a way where layoffs have been confined to certain sectors.
If you look at the overall layoff numbers, they're still pretty similar to where they were in sort of 2018, 2019, when we had a pretty strong labor market.
And consumers keep spending, though major retailers like Macy's and Costco have reported a shift toward less expensive food, essentials, and services as 2 years of high inflation takes a toll. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Good evening and happy Tuesday from a beautiful day down here in Southeast Ohio, where conditions are very similar to what we've seen the past couple days. Right now it's about 77 outside with partly cloudy skies, a little bit of a breeze, and overall today we saw a high of 79, so pretty temperate overall, and we're going to see a little bit drop overnight down to 49. You may have noticed it's mostly cloudy outside, but a lot of those clouds are also looking like haze. So if you looked outside last night around sunset and even this morning during sunrise, you may have noticed the sun looking a little weird, like like more of like an orange disc in the sky versus what it normally looks like around these times. And a lot of that is due to the Canadian wildfires going on right here in Nova Scotia. Now, there's a couple things going on that are causing a lot of this smoke to come down towards Ohio. First is the jet stream, which is also associated with the cold front moving through. The jet stream is more of an atmospheric river of wind pushing through. It helps to drive a lot of the weather that we see, and it always changes and moves around. So it started off around the Great Lakes area, but it's going to continue to make its way towards the southwest, bringing that cold front with it. So these winds are shifting around the northwest down towards the southeast. Now, along with that, we also have some high pressure going on right above the Great Lakes, which is helping to force this wind and this cold front down south just a little bit more. So at the moment, we have some northwest winds driving down towards the southeast. Now, over here towards the east, we have a bit of a low pressure system sitting over Maine, which is creating a sort of cyclonic circular motion going on, and that's really pushing a lot of the smoke down towards the New York, Pennsylvania area, and we're also starting to see some of that as well. So New York is seeing reports of ash on cars, and a lot of that is from that low pressure. So a lot of this combined is creating these conditions for this wind to really blow all that smoke down towards us, creating a lot of these hazy conditions. Now here you can see just where that jet stream is with all those clouds and that cold front pushing through. And here's a really good example of how that low front is just circulating right along here, really pushing all that wind. So you can see this sort of belt of wind that just pushes through that New York and Pennsylvania region. And that's going to touch Ohio a little bit, but with that passing cold front and that passing jet stream, we might see these clouds start to probably push that away from us a little bit moving throughout the rest of this week. But for now, since that is sitting right over us, we're seeing a lot of cloudy weather and a lot of hazy weather. So we'll continue to see mostly cloudy skies with that overnight low of 49. We're not in the clear yet for those 50-degree conditions overnight, so it's going to be a little bit chillier. But moving into the day tomorrow, we're going to continue to watch this cold front as it sinks towards the south a little bit, taking some of the clouds with it, but still going to be a little bit hazy. And we're going to see mostly sunny skies, and these mostly sunny skies are just counting for clouds, not including the haze. So the sun might still look a little weird. The sunsets are still going to have that sort of orangey glow across the sky with them. We'll have another high of 77, so another beautiful day. But temperatures at night will drop to 44, so it'll be a bit chillier as we move into those evening conditions. Now on Thursday, that cold front and that jet stream are really going to sink down south, but we're still going to continue to see a little bit of haze. So even though we've lost that jet stream a little bit, as long as this low pressure is still circulating over the New England area, it's going to continue carrying those wildfire smokes down into Ohio. And we'll continue to see a little bit of that, but the passing of this cold front will help push some of that away. So it should be a little bit clearer. And throughout the next couple of days, we'll continue to see temperatures up into the 70s. And by this weekend, it'll start to pick up a little bit with that chance of rain on Sunday, about 60%. Back over to you, Reese.
Thanks, Emily. The Subcommittee on National Security and the Border and Foreign Affairs held a hearing today to discuss staffing challenges on the border. This comes one day after a second plane with migrants was flown to California. John Loring reports.
Nearly 36 migrants have arrived in Sacramento since Friday. The first group arrived by private jet from Venezuela and Colombia, according to a nonprofit group.
They're human beings. They're people with families. There's some young people, that are just trying to support or make a life for themselves. There's people who left their children behind.
The second group, carrying 20 migrants, came Monday on this private plane from Texas, which California officials believe was sent by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
His willingness to treat human beings, people, as political pawns. It's wrong, and we are getting to the bottom of it.
DeSantis, who recently announced he's running for president in 2024, says he's been cracking down on illegal immigration in his state.
We have banned sanctuary cities. We're cracking down on human smuggling. We've sent National Guard to the border to help with what's going on down there, and we even sent illegal aliens to beautiful Martha's Vineyard.
California Governor Gavin Newsom tweeted Monday calling DeSantis a, quote, small, pathetic man for his alleged role in sending migrants to the Golden State. Meanwhile, local and state officials say they'll be providing assistance.
The people who are scared, who are vulnerable, who are flown here, they will be well cared for.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
After the break, Athens remembers D-Day. And to stay up to date on the latest from Newswatch, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
Join us and watch Burt Bacharach and a stellar lineup of artists interpreting Bacharach's best-known music.
The world needs now. Do you know the way to San Jose? The chance to live.
Watch Burt Bacharach, A Life in Song.
Friday at 8:30 on WOUB.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
In the spring of 2020, as the country goes into lockdown, outside, the garden is coming alive. As a wildlife filmmaker, I knew there were revelations here that could be just as amazing as anything I'd ever filmed.
These bees that just go, you know.
Discovering the secret life of bees took me on a journey I was not expecting.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
The music of Kenny Rogers has touched millions worldwide. And in 2017, a superstar lineup took the stage in Nashville. It's an incredible tribute to a musical legend. Kenny Rogers Farewell Concert Celebration.
Thursday at 8 on WOUB.
Today marks the 79th anniversary of the Normandy invasion. And to remember those involved in the invasion, Ohio University held a rededication ceremony at Normandy Park. The park was originally dedicated in 1981 to John R. Wilhelm, a former war correspondent who covered the D-Day invasion. Wilhelm was also the dean of the College of Communication and former director of the E.W. Scripps School of Journalism. Friend and colleague of Wilhelm, who also covered the D-Day invasion, was remembered at Alden Library. Cornelius Ryan was an Irish journalist who compiled his wartime reporting notes into several successful books. His books, The Longest Day, 6 June 1944 D-Day, and A Bridge Too Far, were turned into major films. Ryan's extensive collection of notes and papers from his coverage is housed at Alden Library. The Ryan Room is part of the Robert E. and Jean R. Mann Center for Archives and Special Collections. D-Day marked the turn of World War II and the beginning of the end of Nazi Germany. Nearly 9,000 Allied troops were killed during the Normandy invasion. When we return, Copperheads baseball is back. Reporter Ariel Lyons joins us live from Bob Wren Stadium with more. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Memory is one of the most important functions of the brain, and problems with it are becoming increasingly more common. In Memory Makeover, I'm going to give you the strategies you need to enhance your memory now and to reverse trouble in the future.
Tuesday at 9:30 on WOUB.
Join us and watch Burt Bacharach and a stellar lineup of artists interpreting Bacharach's best-known music.
The world needs now. Do you know the way to San Jose? The chance to live.
Watch Burt Bacharach, A Life in Song.
Friday at 8:30 on WOUB.
The music of Kenny Rogers has touched millions worldwide. And in 2017, a superstar lineup took the stage in Nashville. It's an incredible tribute to a musical legend. Kenny Rogers Rogers Farewell Concert Celebration.
Thursday at 8 on WOUB.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
Finally tonight, grab your Copperheads hat. Tonight is opening night for the Southeast Ohio Copperheads. Newswatch reporter Ariel Lyons joins us live from Bob Wren Stadium with more on tonight's festivities.
Thanks, Reese. People are geared up and ready to start the summer season. It's opening night, and like always, this community is ready to support their local baseball team. The Copperheads is a student-run, community-owned organization with a lot of support behind them from plenty of people in Southeast Ohio. As you can see, they're playing the Grand Lake Mariners tonight. First pitch is in just a few minutes, but people have been pouring in since 5:30. After the game, there will be a fireworks show free for all attendees. I'm here with a fan that's super excited to be here. Do you want to tell everyone what your name is?
My name is Avery.
How old are you, Avery?
11.
Awesome. You've been to a Copperheads game before, I take it? You a big fan?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. What's your favorite part of the Copperheads game?
Homer.
Do you think the Copperheads are going to win today?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Avery. I hope you have a great game. Reese, Dave's fans are very dedicated. Looking forward to a great season opener.
Well, it looks like you're having an absolute blast over there. Thank you so much, Ariel. Now, this is only the first game of the season, and there are a lot more to come. How about some baseball this summer?
Baseball is a great way to start off the summer too. I know I'm personally a soccer fan, but I absolutely do love a baseball game. It's so much fun to get outside and enjoy it. I remember going to a baseball game last summer with my mom and my sister up in Columbus, and we just had a great time. We were sitting in the grass, and the weather was beautiful outside. And
The Diamond Dog Nights.
Yes, the Diamond Dog Nights, my favorite nights. Can't go wrong with that. I don't know if you have any plans to watch any baseball this summer at all, or any other sporting events.
I definitely want to go to a Copperheads game. I mean, it makes sense. I haven't been to one yet.
Oh,
so.
for sure. I don't think I've ever been either, so that could be a fun thing for us to do this
Yes,
summer.
let's
for
do it.
sure. For sure. Well, a quick look for us for the weather in Athens tonight. It's going to be an overnight low of about 49 with mostly cloudy skies. So we're going to continue to see some clouds rolling in from that cold front that's moving through, tagging along with that jet stream that's really pulling in those cloudy conditions, as well as some of that smoke from those wildfires up in Canada, and it's going to create a little bit of haze going on the next couple of days. But tomorrow will be mostly sunny skies. As far as cloud coverage goes, we're still going to see that haze rolling in from that atmospheric wind, just kind of circulating everything around. But tomorrow's high will be about 77, so another very comfortable day to get outside, and we'll have a low of 44 tomorrow. So it'll be another chillier night moving forward. But throughout the rest of this week, we're slowly going to drop down in temperatures on Thursday. With that passing cold front is that cold air mass, and so it's going to drop everything slightly. We're still going to see overnights about 48, but by Friday, things will start to pick up as a high pressure system starts to move in. That's been sitting over in Canada a little bit above those Great Lakes, and that's also driving that cold pressure down south, that cold front, down south. Now on Saturday, we're expecting a high back up in the 80s. It's going to be 84, partly sunny skies. Beautiful weekend. But on Sunday, a 60% chance of showers. Now I know I've been looking forward to some rain because it's been a little bit dry these past couple days. Got a couple plants outside that need some water, so hopefully this weekend will bring a little bit for that. And we're still looking at weather being absolutely still lovely with those 70s.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Emily Dietz, I'm Reese Thompson. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org or follow us on social media. Have a great night.
Support comes from Visit Athens County. More information can be found at AthensOhio.com. Athens, it's more than a place. Support comes from Snyder Strode Jarrett Financial in Athens, providing